What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers, and break down what's happening with the overall economy thus far as we have important data coming out, not to mention big updates coming out from the Fed. So I'm going to break down some important data that's coming out, why it's going to cause some big volatility in the markets very soon, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I break the devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, deposit $100, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks, each from the Magnificent 7. So it's going to be fractions of them. And this offer is very, very soon, in just about a couple of weeks. So check it out before they run out. All you have to do is sign up and deposit $100 to get those free stocks. Anyways, look at the market right now. We're seeing something very, very interesting. SPY is once again a very interesting place. We're trying to hold this 499 support zone right over here. You can see we grabbed some liquidity down here during the pre-market. I did expect this to dip a little bit more. Now we're trying to rebound, at least for the time being. We will see if SPY does kind of retest the 497 to 499 range one more time before we try to continue to push higher, or if we kind of push a little bit from here. But this is going to depend a lot on some data, and also in my personal opinion, in the beginning, the move does not really matter as much. I think that Jerome Powell is going to cause a much bigger move, and that's going to matter a lot more anyways. So let's talk about some data first before I break down the chart. Today is Wednesday, May 1st, 2024. At 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI coming out. Expect some volatility 15 minutes after the market opens. And then at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 30 minutes after open, we have the JOLTS job openings reports, the ISM manufacturing new orders, and the JOLTS job quits data all coming out. Now, this is some of this data, like the ISM manufacturing new orders, manufacturing prices, are important for inflationary data. They're very forward-looking. We also have the JOLTS job openings, which is very important for the current labor market. It's going to help us understand at least how things are looking and what the Fed sees. And we'll see what this causes. So expect some volatility for the first 30 minutes of the day at 10 o'clock a.m., especially as we have the data coming out. Now, don't forget that today is May 1st. We have the FOMC meeting today. Basically, what's going to happen is at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the interest rate hike decision coming out from the Fed. They're going to most likely keep rates the same. I mean, there's currently a 99% chance they will. The question is what's going to happen to the future projections for rates for like June and beyond. And then at 2:30 p.m., we have the Fed press conference with Jerome Powell himself. So whatever Powell says will have a big effect on the markets as well. So we'll see what Powell says. And whatever he says is going to have a really, really interesting time at really affecting us. For more data, the market was down a little bit for the month of April. The S&P 500 was down about 4.2%. Amazon's up about over 2 to 3% right now because we are looking at some nice earnings that came out. But we'll see how it reacts to resistance. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Jerome Powell speaking, like I said earlier, whatever he says today at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will cause a big move in the markets. Shares of Starbucks are down about 12% in the pre-market on weaker than expected earnings, sadly for them. The same store sales declined about 4%, so that's what ended up coming out. For more earnings, I'm just going to be kind of quick. This morning, we just had Pfizer and CVS, and all the earnings for the rest of the day are very, very minor, except for like Carvana. I guess that's worth listening to. But then for Pfizer, they did pretty well. They actually had a good beat on EPS at 82 cents above expectations. Revenues at 14.88 billion above expectations, and we got a good growth overall in their outlook. So not bad whatsoever from them. And we're starting to see some nice sales. The only thing is we're not 100% sure about how things could really perpetuate, even though they're raising their profits outlook, which is very, very good for them. CVS, on the other hand, is looking not so great. They had big misses on earnings. They missed on EPS at $1.31 below expectations. 88.44 billion is what their revenue was, below expectations. So sadly, CVS is not doing as well. And then for a few more things, there's been a lot of talk involving Tesla. Elon Musk said that the supercharger network is going to expand, so that's good news for them. But now let's talk about what's happening with SPY. So SPY is trying to hold above 499 right now. It's kind of rebounding a little bit. Could come down one more time, grab liquidity before it tries to continue to push higher. And we could be making our way back up to the very, very low 500s. However, this move does not matter as much because we might just see some volatility for the first 30 minutes, might dip a bit, then push back up, and then trade sideways in the 500s, in my personal opinion. We might see a lot of sideways price action. However, Jerome Powell is going to open his mouth after a couple of hours. So basically, the data comes out for the first 30 minutes, and then there's not going to be much data or anything coming out during this period right here for a couple of hours until 2 p.m. So between 10 a.m. after we get our big volatility and until like 2 p.m., the market may slow down a bit. And then the real move will come once we get the rate hike decision and Jerome Powell's speech. So look for this little pump and a little drop that could be coming. We could actually still try to grab liquidity here before we continue higher. And then look for some sideways price action for a couple of hours after 10 a.m. And then we're not going to make a big move again until we get the rate hike decision. So we'll see if that causes a big pump into the 500s or if we get a big rug pull. I'll be very, very careful and very quiet until the time finally comes. So just get ready for that, guys. Look for a little drop and pop, some sideways price action for a couple of hours prior to when we end up getting the big data, and watch for a big move to the volatile side at least a little bit later on. For Tesla, we're continuing to push, but we're approaching this resistance right here at a 20 EMA. We could see another dip on Tesla from this rejection. We might come down, grab some liquidity in the 180 area, shuffle a little bit, then start pushing higher into the low 180s for the first 30 minutes. We could actually push a little bit higher on Tesla, try to fill this gap at 183, then trade sideways in the low 180s for some time. And then what's going to happen is we have the big decisions from the Fed that's going to either launch Tesla to 190 or give us a big rug pull. We'll just have to wait and see. For Nvda has a nice double bottom leg structure trying to push higher. Could come down to retest our 850 area, then start bouncing up towards 858. Then we might start trading sideways up here for some time as the day goes on, and then we'll watch for some high volatility after that. We might see a big push all the way up to the 870s, where we might get a big rug pull, so we'll just have to wait and see. For the QQQ, in my personal opinion, is not looking that great right now. It's trying to rebound a bit. Could retest this 422 area and start pushing higher. And we could slowly try to make our way back up to about 425 and then start shuffling in the 420 area. I think the mid 420s might see some shuffling. And then Jerome Powell's going to either cause a big move to the upside to the 430s or a big rug pull. So we'll just have to wait and see. Apple's just trading sideways right now, looking kind of weak compared to the market. It might just continue to trade sideways for the time being, and then Jerome Powell's either going to launch this up into the 172 area or kind of dip a bit. So it's not really doing much, not so fun for trading. I'm not really seeing a whole lot on Aapl, at least for now, unless some new news comes out, but I'm not seeing it yet. Amazon's trying to push a bit. We could actually push a bit higher on Amzn towards about 184. Amazon's showing some life after earnings and it might outperform the market, so look for a little bounce. However, whether this continues to bounce or not depends on Jerome Powell, so we'll just have to wait and see. And the same thing can be said about Meta. Meta could also attempt to find in this 430 area and shuffle a bit. If we do break 430, we're looking for about 435, then some sideways price action. And we'll have to see if we get a big bounce or not, depending on what we end up hearing from Jerome Powell. Powell may launch this much higher into like the 440 plus area or give us a big rug pull. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. The VIX is also trying to push a little bit, but we'll see if this rejects or not. So give this some time. And honestly, guys, in a nutshell, what's going to happen is look for volatility first 15 to 30 minutes of the day. Look and see what that causes with all this data coming out. And then there's going to be a quiet period. I highlighted the quiet period for the market. So we might see a lot of sideways price action starting at about like 10:30 a.m. Until about 2 p.m. And then at 2 p.m., that's when you have the decision coming in and then Jerome Powell's speech. That's going to cause a big move. The big move is going to come thanks to Jerome Powell. So get ready, guys. Do what you have to do. And I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you for listening, guys. Get ready for some high volatility and we'll see how things go. Thank you and peace out.